Major League Baseball in the 1980s. A decade of transformation. On the surface, baseball in the early 1980s maintained a familiar look, with low home run totals, a slower pace, and a game still holding on to its traditions. But underneath, the sport was cracking open. Players clashed with owners in labor disputes, drug scandals began to stain locker rooms, and a new generation of electric talent, like a young Mexican pitcher named Fernando Valenzuela, captivated fans and redefined star power. The balance of power was shifting, and baseball stood at the edge of transformation. This is the story of Major League Baseball in the 1980s. The year 1980 was a season of redemption. The 1980 baseball season was based on redemption and full of standout performances. In the National League East, the veteran-led Philadelphia Phillies leaned on Pete Rose's leadership, Mike Schmidt's 48 home runs and MVP season, and Steve Carlton's dominating pitching. They battled the Houston Astros in a dramatic 5-game NLCS, where 4 games went to extra innings before securing a hard-fought win. Meanwhile, the Kansas City Royals were driven by George Brett's near .400 batting average, earning him the AL MVP. They swept the Yankees in the ALCS, setting up a World Series clash with the Phillies. In the World Series, the Phillies made history by winning their first championship. Schmidt won the series MVP, and Carlton added 2 more crucial wins. Carlton also won his 3rd Cy Young that season, while Steve Stone of the Orioles earned his only Cy Young with 25 wins. The 1980 season was indeed a turning point as veterans shined, new stars rose, and the game began to change. Moving on, the year 1981 was the strike season and Fernando Mania. Major League Baseball faced major disruption in 1981.
Boy, what a loss it's going to be. Many dollars will go down the drain if the July 14th baseball all-star game at the stadium is canceled.
When a 7-week player strike split the season in 2. Despite the chaos, a young pitcher named Fernando Valenzuela burst onto the scene for the Los Angeles Dodgers. With his unique windup and dominant screwball, he became the first player ever to win both Rookie of the Year and the Cy Young Award in the same season. He posted a 2.48 ERA with 180 strikeouts, and his popularity sparked a nationwide craze known as Fernando Mania. In the American League, Milwaukee Brewers closer Raleigh Fingers delivered one of the best seasons by a reliever, earning both the AL MVP and Cy Young with a 1.04 ERA. And the World Series featured the Yankees and Dodgers, with Los Angeles coming back from an 0-2 deficit to win in 6 games. Likewise, Valenzuela's 147-pitch complete game in Game 3 helped lead the Dodgers to their first title since 1965, showing baseball could endure through uncertainty. Following that, we had the year 1982. This MLB season brought a dramatic clash of styles in the World Series. The St. Louis Cardinals, managed by Whitey Herzog, relied on speed, defense, and smart play. Players like Ozzie Smith and Keith Hernandez led a team that won through hustle rather than power. Their opponents, the Milwaukee Brewers, were the opposite, using heavy hitters to dominate. With stars like AL MVP Robin Yount, Paul Molitor, and Gorman Thomas, the Brewers slugged their way to the series. The matchup went 7 games, with the Cardinals coming back from a 3-2 deficit to win it all, and Darrell Porter earned World Series MVP honors for his clutch performance. Outside the World Series, individual players also had standout years. Dale Murphy of the Braves won NL MVP for his all-around excellence, while Steve Carlton, at 37, won his 4th NL Cy Young Award. In the American League, Brewers pitcher Pete Vukovich claimed the Cy Young with his gritty style. Rickey Henderson, only 23, stole a record-breaking 130 bases, surpassing Lou Brock and proving nearly impossible to stop. After that, we have the year 1983. A changing of the guard. In 1983, Major League Baseball experienced a generational shift. The Baltimore Orioles returned to the top, and Eddie Murray provided consistent offensive power. Together, they carried the team to a World Series victory over the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies, dubbed the Wheeze Kids for their aging roster, relied on veterans like Pete Rose, Joe Morgan, and Tony Perez, along with strong seasons from Mike Schmidt and Cy Young winner John Denny, to make an unlikely postseason run, but their efforts fell short in the championship. Meanwhile, the new wave of talent was making its mark. Rookie Darryl Strawberry hit 26 home runs in just 122 games and was named the National League Rookie of the Year. Dale Murphy also repeated as NL MVP, confirming his 1982 breakout, while Lamar Hoyt won 24 games and took home the AL Cy Young, helping the White Sox reach the playoffs for the first time in 24 years. If you're enjoying this journey through baseball history, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of the game's greatest stories. Next was the year 1984, when the Tigers roared to the top. In 1984, the Detroit Tigers dominated Major League Baseball from the very start, winning 35 of their first 40 games and finishing the regular season with 104 wins. Jack Morris led the pitching staff with a no-hitter in April, while Alan Trammell and Lou Whitaker anchored the infield both defensively and offensively. Not over, Kirk Gibson added power in the lineup, and Trammell was named World Series MVP after leading Detroit to a 5-game victory over the San Diego Padres. Meanwhile, the Padres reached the World Series for the first time, overcoming a 0-2 deficit in the NLCS against the Cubs, helped by Tony Gwynn, Steve Garvey, Goose Gossage, and a crucial error by Cubs first baseman Leon Durham in Game 5. The season also featured standout individual performances. Detroit's Willie Hernandez won both the AL MVP and Cy Young as a dominant closer. In the National League, Cubs second baseman Ryne Sandberg earned MVP honors for his all-around play, and Rick Sutcliffe, acquired mid-season, went 16-1 to win the NL Cy Young. A new star emerged as 19-year-old Dwight Gooden of the Mets struck out 276 batters in his rookie season, earning Rookie of the Year and signaling the rise of a future ace. And following that was 1985, the Royals' redemption and brewing controversy. In 1985, Major League Baseball raised the stakes by expanding the League Championship Series to a best-of-7 format. And what a debut it was. The Kansas City Royals, underdogs all postseason, clawed back from a 3-1 deficit in the ALCS to shock the 99-win Toronto Blue Jays. Then came the World Series against the rival St. Louis Cardinals. Down 3-1 again, the Royals found life in Game 6 thanks to a now infamous blown call by umpire Don Denkinger at first base. The call cracked the door open and Kansas City stormed through, dominating Game 7 with an 11-0 blowout behind 21-year-old ace Brett Saberhagen, who was named World Series MVP. But the drama wasn't confined to the field. The Cardinals spark plug Vince Coleman, who stole a jaw-dropping 110 bases, was bizarrely sidelined when a mechanical tarp rolled over him before the series. Meanwhile, across the league, the cracks in baseball's image deepened. While Don Mattingly and Dwight Gooden dazzled on the field, the sport was rocked by a federal cocaine scandal. Testimonies exposed widespread drug use, especially within the Pittsburgh Pirates clubhouse, prompting Major League Baseball to promise reforms. Moving forward, the year 1986 was the cinematic year. This season wasn't just a baseball season, it was a full-blown cinematic experience. The New York Mets stormed their way to 108 wins and a legendary postseason. Their NLCS battle with the Houston Astros delivered a 16-inning Game 6 thriller, your edge-of-your-seat drama. Then came the World Series, down to their last out in Game 6. The Mets capitalized, clinching it all in Game 7 and etching themselves into baseball lore. Meanwhile, over in the American League, the Boston Red Sox were crafting their own dramatic arc. Roger Clemens was untouchable, winning both the MVP and Cy Young with a 24-4 record. And across the league, stars were born. Mike Schmidt earned NL MVP honors once more. Mike Scott mowed down hitters with 306 strikeouts to win the NL Cy Young. And a young slugger named Jose Canseco launched 33 home runs, kicking off the Bash Brothers era. The year 1987. It was a home run explosion. George Bell hit 47 homers to win AL MVP, while Andre Dawson hit 49 for the last place Cubs and still won NL MVP. Rookie Mark McGwire also crushed 49 home runs for Oakland, earning Rookie of the Year and signaling the start of a new power era. Despite the surge in offense, strong pitching still had its moments. Roger Clemens won another Cy Young in the AL, and Steve Bedrosian saved 40 games for the Phillies. And at the same time, we can't forget the Minnesota Twins, who showed that power wasn't everything. They made the playoffs with just 85 wins, but became unbeatable at home. The Twins also used their Metrodome advantage to beat the St. Louis Cardinals in a 7-game World Series. Next is 1988, the year of Hershiser and Gibson. In 1988, the Dodgers shocked baseball by winning the championship, led by Orel Hershiser's record 59 scoreless innings. Hershiser's calm and dominant performance earned him both the Cy Young Award and the World Series MVP. But the defining moment came in Game 1 of the World Series when an injured Kirk Gibson, barely able to walk, hit a game-winning home run against star closer Dennis Eckersley. His fist-pumping trot around the bases became one of the most iconic moments in baseball history. The Dodgers' win was shocking because the Oakland Athletics were overwhelming favorites. They had won 104 games and were powered by sluggers Jose Canseco and Mark McGwire, with Canseco becoming the first player to hit 40 home runs and steal 40 bases in the same season. Despite Oakland's strength, the Dodgers defeated them in just 5 games. Last but not least, 1989, an unforgettable year. By 1989, baseball had become a full-blown spectacle, and the spotlight was brightest in the Bay Area. The Oakland A's and San Francisco Giants faced off in the World Series. Oakland, built for dominance, had a strong lineup featuring Dave Stewart, Dennis Eckersley, and others. They cruised past the ALCS and swept the Giants in 4 games, with Stewart winning Series MVP. The Giants had their own stars, Will Clark and NL MVP Kevin Mitchell. But just before Game 3, the Loma Prieta earthquake hit, halting the series for 10 days and reminding everyone that life is bigger than sports. And again, Robin Yount won his second AL MVP that year. Brett Saberhagen also earned the AL Cy Young with the Royals. It didn't end there. There were other remarkable feats as well. But the year also brought scandal. Pete Rose was banned for life for gambling, and shortly after, Commissioner Bart Giamatti died of a heart attack. The 1980s left a mark on baseball unlike any decade before, where glory on the field was matched by chaos off of it. We saw legends rise and reputations fall, championships won in unforgettable fashion, and the seeds of the steroid era quietly planted. This wasn't just about stats and trophies. It was also about a game growing up, grappling with fame, money, and its place in American culture. What moment from the 1980s defined the era for you? Let us know in the comments. Hit that like button if you felt the nostalgia, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into baseball history.